Hey guys, I'm Becky from Book Bite Reviews, and as the title suggests, today we're talking everything audiobooks. If you've been watching my videos for a while, then you may already know that I am a huge supporter of audiobooks. I love listening to audiobooks. I honestly don't know which I have done more of this year. I don't know if I have listened more than I have physically read, but I will be keeping track of that in 2020, so we will find out next year which one I do more of. Between the two, I don't think that there is a clear winner of if I enjoy listening more than physically reading. I definitely enjoy the two more than reading an ebook. I just love them both equally, and I may do them both equally. We will find out in 2020. I am a bit of an audiobook snob, so it only takes a max of 20 minutes of the audiobook for me to decide whether or not I'm going to keep listening. If I'm not enjoying the audiobook, I will stop and just physically read, even if I don't want to physically read. I just don't put up with it. I either like the audiobook or I don't, and that's it. Today I decided to talk everything audiobooks, as I have never done this before. So we're going to talk about how I listen, what I do while listening, what platforms I use, and what some of my top audiobook recommendations are. So first, let's talk about how I listen. I strictly listen to audiobooks on my phone. I don't listen on the computer or any other way or with any other device. I strictly just use my phone. So now let's talk about what I do while I listen. The reason that I prefer audiobooks at times over physically reading. I am a multitasker, so all of these activities include some form of relaxation and multitasking. The more serious and less fun reason that I listen to audiobooks is because I do get a lot of frequent sinus headaches and migraines, which means I cannot physically read because I can't have my eyes open. So at this time, I will listen to an audiobook, be laying in bed, have my eyes closed, earbuds in, and can still read because most of the time I want to be reading, but I can't. So that is when I think I discovered audiobooks. Well, I think that's the reason I discovered the amazingness of audiobooks. Audiobooks are my best friend. The next activity I do while listening to audiobooks is making something. I do crochet, so anytime that I am working on a crochet project, I'm either watching TV or listening to an audiobook. The other thing I have gotten into is diamond dotting. I love diamond dots. I find it so freaking relaxing and mindless and repetitive, and I just love it. It really just like centers me and relaxes me, and I have gotten through many of the Harry Potter books while diamond dotting. It's fantastic. And the last and more fun and more common thing that I'm doing while listening to an audiobook is playing games on my phone. Like I said, I'm a big multitasker. I cannot just be sitting there doing nothing. So if I'm not doing any of the other things that I've already mentioned, I am playing games on my phone. So here are my top 4 games that I love playing while listening to an audiobook. The first 2 are owned by the same company, but I love them both and play them both back to back. As soon as I don't have any lives in one, I jump to the other one and I go back and forth waiting for that one to refill while I play this one, and you get it. But those are Gardenscapes and Homescapes. I love these games so much. It's basically Bejeweled, but you earn things so that you can fix up your house or your garden. And I'm addicted. I love it. I don't know why. I would never have guessed that I would be obsessed with these games, but I am. I also really, really love Picross games. So the one that I am currently working on and trying to finish is called Two Eyes. This one is like really serene. I really like the colors that are in the game. There's also a story mode. And the last game that I'm playing, and the one that I've been playing the most recently, is HappyColor. This is a color by number app that I just absolutely love. At the end, they also give you a time lapse of your coloring. So there are some of them, especially the mandalas, that I will color a certain way so that the time lapse is more aesthetically pleasing. I also sometimes share these on my Instagram stories, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, you will see some of those as well. So now let's talk about the platforms that I use. Like I said, I strictly listen on my phone, so these are all apps. But of course, I absolutely love them. And the very first one, and the one that I use the most, is Hoopla. I freaking love Hoopla. Hoopla is a library service that your library would have to subscribe to in order for you to use. It's kind of like Libby or Overdrive, so if your library uses that, this is a different one. If your library does not support Hoopla, I would highly suggest that you bother them until they do, because my library recently got it and I'm obsessed. I love this so freaking much. With Hoopla, you have access to ebooks, audiobooks, music, television, movies, and comics, and there are no holds. Everything is available to check out immediately. Next up are the subscription services apps, which I do have 3 that I use the most. I will let you know that I am broke right now and I cannot afford to pay a monthly subscription right now. So all 3 of these, I will let you know that if you subscribe for the free trial, you get a free ebook or 2 and you get to keep them after your trial. So that is also what I have done. I highly suggest that you do the same. But at the moment, I am not currently subscribed to a monthly plan right now just because I am broke. But I do plan on doing that at some point as soon as I can, because I really should, because I love audiobooks and that's a really good investment for me. I'm also pretty positive that all of these are the same price. I'm pretty sure they are all $14.99 a month, but I will talk about what they actually are right now and tell you a bit more about them. So the very first one and the most well-known is Audible. I really, really love Audible. I love everything that Amazon makes and creates, and I'm just a big fan of Amazon. So of course I love Audible. The really cool thing about Audible is, like I said, you do get to keep your audiobook that you get during your free trial, but also every once in a while, Amazon will be like, hey, come back, we'll give you a free audiobook, or here's just a free credit just because we love you. Audible is really nice, and I do really like their platform. They have like everything you can think of, plus their own exclusive content, and I just really enjoy Audible. It may be the one that I end up subscribing to once I can, but honestly, I really don't know. The next one is audiobooks.com. This one is a little bit newer to me, but it seems like they have a really great selection. I don't think there's ever been an audiobook that I've been looking for on there that hasn't been on there, so their selection is really, really good. I am an affiliate for audiobooks.com, so if you do subscribe using my link, then I will get a commission for it, so I do want to let you know about that. But they are a really great subscription service. I honestly don't know who is better between them and Audible. They seem pretty comparable. So again, I don't know who I'm going to pick. And the very last one is the one that I've most recently found, but I really have a soft spot for this company, and let me tell you about it. It is Libro.fm. That is their website, that is their company, and they have a really great message behind the company. So with Libro FM, the audiobooks that you buy, you're not actually buying them from some kind of big corporation like you are with audiobooks and Audible. You are buying them from your local indie bookstore. And you can actually choose your exact local indie bookstore to give all of your proceeds to, which I'm a really big fan. I think that is such a cool thing. It's just great because now you can support your local indie bookstore without leaving your house. The really cool thing about Libro.fm is that they do have a referral service. So as a regular subscriber like you and I, you get a link that you can share with people. And if people decide to subscribe using that link, you get a free audiobook. So you should totally subscribe. There is a free trial and we can help each other out by getting free audiobooks. So be sure to subscribe using my link and then share your link to the masses and get those free audiobooks for yourself. Also, more recently, I have become an audiobook reviewer, which is something that I have been really, really interested in looking into. So I have been doing some research. There was a really great article. I believe it was on Book Riot, but it might have been on Epic Reads. I will find it and link it down below. And it talked about becoming a audiobook reviewer and ways to get free audiobooks. So I will have that link down below because it's what helped me find these new things I'm using. Well, actually, it helped me find the one that I am using and some other ones that I'm looking forward to use, but I'm only mentioning the one that I'm currently using, and the other one I have found way before that article. But let's talk about it. I'm just gabbing way too much in this video. So the very first one, and the one that I have been really, really excited to use, and I've actually just gotten my first 2 audiobooks from them, is Libro.fm. They do have a reviewer service. To let you know, to become a reviewer, you have to have some kind of platform. So you have to be an educator, a teacher, a vlogger, a blogger, or some kind of social media influencer. So you have to have some kind of platform where you will share your reviews of these books and it will actually reach people. So you do have to have something like that in order to become a reviewer. With Libro.fm, every month they send you a link for you to get your free audiobooks. They have an array of what you can choose from. I think it's something like 6 books is what you can choose from, but they're all new releases and you can choose one or all of them. There is no time period of when you have to review them. There's only a time period for when you can download them, which is that month. But once you download them, they're yours forever. And they just highly suggest that you review them once you get them. So this month in November, I did get the chance to get The Family Upstairs and Get a Life Chloe Brown. I'm very excited to check out both of them. I know that in the past, they also had Frankly in Love by David Yoon as an option and Imaginary Friends by Stephen Chbosky. The other service that I have actually used and am continuing to use is Audiobookworm Promotions. This is a website usually for bloggers and vloggers, but definitely check it out and see if you can use it as well. This is a audiobook tour company where more independent authors are contacting them in order to get publicity for their book. So you sign up to review an audiobook, you download it for free, and then you review it in a expected time frame. So this one is a lot more structured, but I've been really enjoying it a lot. I've found some books that I may not have ever found before, and I'm going to continue to use the service. And now finally, let's talk about some of my recommendations. Now, I will let you know that not all of these audiobooks on this recommendation list are 5-star books. These are not all of my favorite books. These are just books that I highly recommend you listen to the audiobook over physically reading. So if somebody told me that they were thinking about reading one of these books, I would say, I think you should pick up the audiobook. If you want to see all of the books that I have listened to on audiobook and find my favorites, definitely be sure to friend me on Goodreads. I will accept your friend request, but I do have an audiobook shelf where I put everything that I listen to. Let's just jump right in. They are in 3 different categories. My very first category is accents that enhance the reading experience. Now, whenever I'm physically reading and I find out that a character is supposed to have an accent and it's a main character or somebody that we're going to see a lot, or we are in a different place where there will be accents, I immediately look up the audiobook and see if the narrator is doing an accent for it. And if they are, then I'm usually jumping ship and listening to the audiobook because I am a sucker for accents. So the very first series that I would highly recommend that you pick up the audiobooks is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. These books are filled with all kinds of different accents, and the narrator does them outstandingly. She also has very distinct voices for each of the characters. It's honestly just the best experience. I would honestly never physically read this series. If I'm ever going to reread it, I'm always going to listen to the audiobooks because they're amazing. Next is Dumplin by Julie Murphy. This one is a good example of a book that did not get 5 stars from me, but the audiobook is fantastic. It has that amazing Southern accent that Dumplin has, and it was just perfection. I absolutely loved the audiobook. I didn't care for the story that much. I love the freaking movie, but I will warn you that the movie and the book are 2 totally separate stories. They are very different, and wow. Next is 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. This was a book that we picked for book club because it is my friend Sarah's one of her absolute favorite books, and she wanted us to read it, so we did. I decided to pick up the audiobook because I don't like sci-fi books, and this book has a pretty big sci-fi presence, and I don't regret it. I'm honestly thinking about continuing with the series, all thanks to the audiobook, and that is because one scene takes place in France, and the accents, I can't get over those accents. I still think about those accents. Every time I think about a great audiobook, I think about this book, because even the parts that don't have a French accent are really, really well done, and I'm definitely considering continuing on with the series. The next category is a full cast of characters. I freaking love when an audiobook has a full cast, especially when they have multiple points of view. Also, Pepe is needing some attention over here, so I'm going to be playing with them over here. The very first recommendation is another one that did not get 5 stars for me, but I don't think I would have got through this book if I read it physically, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like the category says, this book has a full cast for all of the characters, and it is so, so well done. I didn't end up giving the book 5 stars, and that is just because the content mostly, it's not a book that I would have read if it wasn't written by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because that's just not what I'm into reading. I definitely am going to watch the TV show, I believe is what is being made. I'm definitely going to watch that. But yeah, the audiobook, if you're going to read the book, listen to the audiobook. The next one is one that got 5 stars for me, and it's a book that I really, really enjoy. It may make my top 10 list this year, and that is Odd One Out by Nic Stone. In this book, we hear from 3 different points of view, and the audiobook is just amazingly well done. It has so many good voices for each of the characters. Not only do we have a full cast, but even when it is a different person's chapter, their voices for the characters are very distinct, and I just love it. Also, the story itself, the plot, everything is just absolutely well done and amazing and well written. You definitely need to pick up more of Nic Stone's books, but be sure to pick up the audiobook for Odd One Out. And my last category is you get more from listening. These are my top recommendations of if you're going to read these books, just pick up the audiobook. There's some of my favorites. So the very first one is one that I listened to last year, and it was my #1 book of 2018, and that was Lies You Never Told Me by Jennifer Donaldson. This book, you guys, is absolutely amazing, but it does have 2 narrators, as we do have 2 points of view. This is a mystery thriller kind of YA, so there are a lot of twists and turns and a very big twist ending. If you're like me, when you're physically reading, you sometimes have a very bad habit of accidentally reading ahead. And I have to literally put my hands over the pages when I am reading certain sections that are about to reveal something, even if it's just like that they're gonna kiss, because I will read ahead and spoil it for myself. So that is why I love listening to audiobooks, because I can't find out until it actually happens. The next one is one of my all-time favorite audiobooks. I love this book so freaking much, and the twist ending in this book is absolutely mind-blowing. This is one that do not physically read it. Pick up the audiobook. It's so well done. When I first read this book many years ago, I started it on my drive to college, and I almost crashed my car because of the beginning. Our narrator is very dramatic and very unreliable, and that very beginning scene is very abrupt and crazy, and I had to go back and re-listen to that first part to understand what exactly was happening, because it was crazy. And that is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I love this audiobook. This may be one of my all-time favorite audiobooks. It's absolutely fantastic. I've only ever listened to it on audio, and it's the only way I will ever recommend you read it, because it's just so well done. And my very last recommendation is not necessarily one that I would say listen to the audiobooks over physically reading, but it's just one that I listened to on audio and I absolutely loved it, and I think I'm always going to listen to them on audio. I am going to physically read them because I do want to annotate them, but is Jim Dale's version of the Harry Potters. I just absolutely love the audiobooks. For one, I just feel like I'm at home when I'm listening to Harry Potter. It's so freaking comforting. These are my all-time favorite books, and the audiobooks are just absolutely fantastic. I love that I can take Harry Potter with me wherever I go, and I can listen to Jim Dale's amazing voice and be told the amazing tale of Harry Potter. I just absolutely love it. I cannot wait to reread these books already. I'm crazily excited. All right, guys, that is everything audiobooks for you today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, or there's anything that I may have missed, please be sure to leave a comment down below and I will be sure to answer them. I always make sure to answer my comments. If anything, I will give you a like or a love if I have nothing to contribute, but I always respond to any questions, so be sure to put them down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you loved it and you want to see more bookish content from me, please hit that subscription button. And if you want to be notified as soon as my videos go live here on YouTube, hit the notification bell. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!